This is the second book of the Hawthorne series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. As promised, I read it, and it pretty much starts up where the last one left off. So, spoilers for that one, obviously. If you haven't read it and intend to, I would recommend reading it and this one before watching this. If you haven't read it and don't intend to, here's a very sensible recap for you. The Riddler died, and instead of leaving his vast fortune to his grandson Robin, as expected, he instead leaves it to a complete unknown teenage girl, Dipper Pines. Robin is put out, as are his half-brothers, Clay, Hitchcock and Wallace. Dipper discovers a series of clues which leads her to discover the story of a girl who two-timed Hitchcock and Robin, discovered her twin sister was dating Regina George, forced Robin to take her cliff diving, and died. And Robin and Hitchcock became bitter enemies. After the Riddler's daughter Phoebe tries to kill her, Dipper kisses Hitchcock, then regrets it. Eventually they solve the mystery and find a secret room under the house, and everyone gets a letter from the Riddler, including Wallace, who is given a new mystery to solve. The mystery of the Riddler's son. Metro Man. Now we're all on the same page. Let's continue. Avery has just realised that Tobias Hawthorne's son Toby didn't perish in a fire 20 years ago, but is alive and well. And not only that, but he is the homeless guy she knows as Harry, with whom she used to play chess in the park at the beginning of the first book. But Toby, or Harry, has disappeared. Avery, Jameson, Grayson and Xander embark on a new mystery. What happened to Toby? How did he survive the fire? And what does this have to do with his sisters Sky and Zara? I probably enjoyed this one a little more than the first one. Why? I'm not 100% sure, but possibly because our main characters are more or less friends in this one, and I'm just a pure, innocent soul who like to see people working together. Also less brooding, which is also a bonus. The other reason may be that Xander has a more active role. I don't know that he's in it more, just that his part was more actively relevant to the plot. And Xander is still the best character, so... He's also more prominent on the front cover. Yay! You can tell it's him here at the front, from his afro-esque hair, and then Nash is relegated to the back. It's his rightful place. I honestly couldn't tell you which of the remaining two are Grayson and Jameson. I couldn't on the first book's cover either. For some reason the artist forgot to remove Jameson's shirt. Although this did a Twilight reverse, and instead of taking off his shirt more, he did it less. Shameful. I think the mystery was pretty good, considering I wasn't that invested at first, I guess because the mystery of where is Toby seemed like it had already been solved before it began. But actually, this was another engaging deep dive into the sordid past of several characters. Because it was more about past events, there was more scope for working things out as the reader, which I suppose meant I felt a little more involved. It's still not the most beautifully written thing in the world, but then again, it's not trying to be, so... Some plot points seem a little weak under the spotlight. One of Avery's security detail, Eli, is actually a sneaky so-and-so, and so is his sister, Mellie, who we met in the first one as a maid and one of Nash's rescues from his saviour complex. It seems strange that Oren, the head of security, who I think I kept calling Omer in the first review for some reason. Omer, Oren... They're 75% the same name, and how different is an N from an M? Anyway, it's weird that he didn't know that Eli and Mellie were related, considering the rigorous security checks. And I don't think it's a case of him knowing but not caring, because they were actively trying to hide it. But considering they don't have the same sort of access to resources, they tried to hide it by having Mellie wear contact lenses. Which seems underkill. I can't remember what colour her eyes were in the first book, but blimey, this plan must have been long in the making. Which is hard to believe, but hey-ho. Anyway, I can't believe that Oren didn't know and didn't therefore think it strange that they never acknowledged each other. There were some plot points that just didn't really go anywhere as well. There's a thing about Avery becoming emancipated because as a minor she can't write her own will, so her heirs automatically include her terrible father Ricky. So emancipation is in the works for as soon as possible. Enter Ricky, shacking up with Sky, who tried to have Avery killed in the first book. And Ricky says he is going to apply for custody of her, which means... Avery will need to become emancipated to avoid it, which she was doing anyway. But will they have to speed it up before Ricky gets his claws into her? No, not at all. Will the application slow down the emancipation? No. Is any judge going to take him seriously, considering he has been so willfully not present in Avery's life that when her mother died she was taken in by the half-sister she didn't even grow up with? Especially considering Avery is 17 and most judges are likely to take her opinion into account. No. Does this plot go anywhere? Of Of course not. Is Ricky's bid to take guardianship ever mentioned again? No. Is there anything to throw a real spanner in the works regarding the emancipation? No. It was very boring. There's a love triangle, yay, which we already knew, except we did. So in the first book, there was this whole thing where Avery kept having hot flashes whenever Grayson or Jameson touched her or looked at her. What I didn't mention was at the end, she actually approached Grayson, and he said he was stepping out of the race because Jameson fancies her. Firstly, my dude, she's a human person, capable of making her own decisions. Not a toy you can just give to your brother because he wants it. Secondly, your brother is a big boy, he will get over it. By Avery's reaction, it seemed like she was either going to choose him or just wanted to talk to him about it, but after he relinquishes her to Jameson, she's just like, aight. In this book, we basically have the same thing. Despite the will they, won't they thing with Jameson, she still fancies Grayson too, and dedicates whatever word count isn't focused on the mystery, pondering which hot rich boy she likes more. Fortunately, most of the word count is about the mystery, but the love triangle was still annoying. It is resolved at the end. For most of the book, Avery laments she doesn't understand the epic seaside love, which is an odd description considering the seaside love sounds synonymous with holiday romance, the point of which is that it doesn't last. But hey-ho. She doesn't understand epic love until she reads these letters between her mother and Toby, and she talks at length at how their love was huge and real and epic, so much so that it made her realise which hot rich boy she liked more. Now, I don't know if I've said this before, but I love love. You can therefore understand my disappointment when instead of reading these passionate, beautiful, epic letters and seeing this love for ourselves, we are just told about it. And the excerpts we do get do not scream true love to me. Very disappointing. Anyway, the romance was resolved at the end, but considering the mystery is also wrapped up with no cliffhanger, and yet there is a third book which continues the mystery, I have a feeling the romance will also be unresolved. Otherwise, what else will Avery have to mope about whenever she isn't solving clues? If you liked the first book, you'll like this one. If you found the first sensationalist and obnoxious, I have some bad news about this one. Will I read the third? Well, I've already ordered it from the library. Will I review that one next? Depends. I'd like to talk about something else, but it is exam season and I'll be busy, so we'll see. And will I see you next time? Who knows?